Rod Duff, your host.
And I'm producer Barbie.
And together,
we bring you our podcast,
Insights and Straight Talk. And with that, producer Barbie and I are out. Ooh, you can feel the wind blowing through your hair there, can't you? Beautiful day today here in Oklahoma. And good morning to you all, and welcome to Insights and Straight Talk. As you know, I am Rod Duff, here today with someone who represents way more than just a guest. He represents continuity. He represents generational shift. He represents the practical side of everything we've been talking about for the past several weeks. My son, Brandon Duff. Over the last arc, we've moved deliberately from elections to systems to psychology to muscle mass to metabolic capacity to the body as civic infrastructure. Because here's what most communities miss. They don't collapse because of ideology. They collapse because of exhaustion. We talk about roads, bridges, broadband, schools. We understand those systems require maintenance. But the human body, we treat that as optional far too often. And when populations become inflamed, sleep deprived, under-muscled, nutritionally unstable, capacity shrinks. Leadership becomes reactive, participation thins, conversations definitely harden. That's not political language, that's biology. And today, we take that one step further, because if the body is infrastructure, then food is upstream from that. And that's where Brandon's work enters this conversation. Micro farming, urban food systems, soil, sunlight, production, agency. This isn't gardening as a hobby. This is food anatomy as a structural stabilizer. When families grow food, they increase nutrient density. They increase physical engagement. They increase metabolic stability. They reduce supply chain dependency. They build resilience. And that's not nostalgia, that's adaptive strategy. And as we prepare to pivot into Mangum 2030, our five-pillar rural revitalization model, education, health, then we have local economic engines, civic dialogue, digital infrastructure. It's important we land this arc correctly, because Mangum 2030 is not theory. It's integrated systems thinking. And what you're about to hear today is a generational conversation about production over consumption, resilience over reaction, capacity over commentary. We are closing one chapter today, but something much bigger begins next. So what do you say? Let's lean in. Welcome, Brandon. How are you, my son?
I am amazing. How are you?
Oh, there. Well, we know you're amazing. So I think we're all on the same. Oh my God, look at this. There's been some weirdos on lately coming on the show. I shouldn't say that. You're not a weirdo, but thank you saying my beard is cute, I guess. Has to be talking to me, I guess. We already have 120 people on. Wow, that's fast. That's really fast. So I didn't ask you in the green room. Thanks. So they're active today, folks. 2VORP, at 2VORP. Thank you very much. I appreciate you stepping in and being part of the conversation here today. I have my son, Brandon. it's so weird calling you my son because you're so old now. You're a
know.
grown man with your own baby, and which I love. And so it's great to have you here. I didn't ask you. You don't have a hard stop, do you, or do you at all?
No, no.
All right. And I know a lot of people on here probably already know your story, but you know how we like to kind of go back and what's the journey? What's the inflection point that puts you onto this place where you are now? I know your background is multiple layer revenue generation, but tell a little backstory. How did all this? I mean, you can go back. If I was you, you've been a serial entrepreneur all your life since high school, literally. Why don't you go back and tell some of those stories of how you got here to this point today?
Yeah, definitely. So like you said, I've been a serial entrepreneur from an early age, from gaming to fitness. And one of my longest career paths was in fitness when I was in California. And it was very important to take care of our bodies. You've had many guests on the past talking about how important it is, how the mind and body are connected. And I like to say that if you pollute one part of the mind, then the body's going to follow. If you pollute the body, the mind is going to follow, and vice versa. I think I just said the same thing twice, but ultimately, what you're doing to one aspect, it's going to affect other systems. And so recently, we would go to the Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or whatever and buy green onions, and they look so good when you first get them, but a day or two in the fridge, they start to wilt and they look very saggy or not as firm.
They
and
do.
Just kind of deteriorated all. And we would throw away a bunch of food. We would get strawberries and for my daughter because she loves strawberries. And a couple of days later, they're growing mold, and we're like, God, what is going on? And I realized like a lot of this food's like shipped from Peru or Mexico or across the country. And so
Yep.
it's like, what are they doing to the food to make it shelf stable for weeks at a time? And then once you get it, because I mean, I grow some kale in the in my hydroponics tower inside at home in a spare bedroom, and it lasts for, I mean, it wilts down pretty quickly, but how are they doing it for its 3 weeks where it still looks good on the shelf, but then when you get it home, it's like not as great. And so it just, like you said, plummets. And so I was like, well, I'm going to just grow green onions so we're not just throwing these away. Maybe I'll grow some bell peppers because maybe some strawberries. And it kind of led me on this journey of being a farmer in a sense. And so I started with green onions, and I was like, oh, wow, these are really easy to grow. Literally, if you have green onions that you're using, you can literally just take them and say you cut them, you're using them, and you're done with them. Instead of throwing them away, you can just literally put them in water and they start regrowing. So like these ones have started to regrow. My wife just cut these down and now they're regrowing. I mean, usually you see like roots like this when you are starting out with growing them. But once they start growing quite a bit. And so I started growing green onions. And I really like that. Because I was like, now we don't need to spend money on green onions, $2-3 for a set of green onions. You're saving, a couple dollars a week by growing just green onions. And so then I was like, well, what else can I grow that's really
Hey, Brandon. So before you go on the green onion, so you literally use, I know what you're talking about. You have the white part and then you cut off the green and that's what you're eating, right?
Right.
And then you literally just put it back in water and it starts to grow again.
Yeah, so it grows from the center of it, and it just shoots up, and it
Wow.
regrows. And you could probably do it maybe 4, 5, 6 times before it doesn't have enough nutrients in its cells to keep growing. But I'm guessing if you add some kind of nutrients, it'll have the energy to do that. And a lot of the stuff you get from vegetables that you get at the store, you can regrow. So I bought ginger and I started growing ginger. My wife used an onion last night, and instead of throwing away
Used what last night? Used
an
what last night? I didn't hear.
an
What?
onion, an
An
onion,
onion last night. Gotcha.
and so instead of throwing the ends away, you just plant them in water. So I am now planting an onion in water, and it will have shoots that come out the top. Once the shoots come up, I'll plant it into a little pot like this, and then once it gets a little bit bigger, I will move it to a bigger pot. Obviously, this one's probably way too small actually for that onion, but I was giving an example.
You made
That
that,
I'll
didn't you? You
Yeah. So
printed that. Those.
I have a
Go
I
ahead.
have a 3D printer, and a lot of the stuff that I've been planting in, I've been just printing using a 3D printer. And so I've grown basil. I've been doing microgreens, which are very easy to grow, especially if you have a small balcony. Um, Green onions. I've been just doing it on my patio of our house. I got a 27-gallon storage bin, black, and I put 8 sprouts. So potatoes, once they grow older, they start getting little sprouts out of the eyes of them, and people will think that's bad. They're going bad, but in reality, that's them saying, "Hey, I can be replanted." And so
Hmm.
I've been taking those shoots and putting them into the storage bin, which is probably like this big enough for a small balcony, and I can then take that, and now I'm growing my own potatoes. And so just very easily, things that you can get from the store, they want to be organic because a lot of it's just cleaner. It's not full, it shouldn't be full of pesticides, but organic is kind of a fake term these days. But usually,
Yeah,
from
it
what I
is.
hear, is the organic, they don't put in growth inhibitors. Uh, that's one of the things that they, I guess, don't allow to be certified organic. So if you do get an organic, it's most likely will be able to regrow it. And so I've been growing quite a bit of all sorts of different vegetables now, because it started with green onions to replace a couple bucks, but now if I can replace my whole vegetable my all my vegetables, if we're spending $200 a week on groceries, that's an extra $800 in your pocket every single month by
Dang,
just
yeah.
using what is um, just out in nature. So I've been able
So,
to do that.
so you're talking about $800 you're putting back into your, or not taking out of your pocket, however you want to look at that. But and then as far as the care and all that, we were talking about that earlier. Very little amount of time out of your day is needed. I mean, a couple of those things you check on once or every other week, and then as far as the cost, there's not much. There's not much to grow those potatoes as far as cost wise, is there? Or is there any cost?
Um, I mean, it depends.
Water,
So
water.
you have water, depending on if you want to do it inside or do it outside. Um, Inside, you're going to have grow lights or near a window, depending on how
True.
your house is facing. But electricity, I guess, if you have grow lights or if you have to keep it at a certain temperature, that's quite possible. But then I am now growing outdoors, and I literally just I bought some seeding potatoes that already had the little stems or whatever they're called, shoots. and I planted those in a storage bin, which I think I got for $8. I got some soil for I think $15. You could probably just find some soil around your house instead, and dig up some soil, or find someone who's donating soil, or builders. And
That's true.
I've been using that with nutrients that is already in the soil, and it's now growing my own potatoes and my own ginger. And as time goes on, you'll start accumulating more seeds from each of these vegetables, or ways to restart them and just keep the process going.
Wow. So the ginger, let's is the gingers you talked about sushi, and I want to talk about how we got onto that subject earlier. But is that the ginger that I think of first that you use with sushi, wasabi and
Um,
ginger? Is that the same thing?
I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure. But like ginger is used for lots of different dishes. So it's
Yeah,
kind
what
of
is
like
it used for? That's what I'm looking for. Because you made a drink out of it, right? In your
yes,
refrigerator.
yes. So I on top of the skin of ginger, there's natural yeast, and essentially
Natural
what you can
what?
do,
Yeast?
yeast, yes,
Yeast?
um,
Okay.
correct. And what you can do is you can put it in water with sugar, and the yeast on the ginger, the natural yeast, will feed off the sugar and create carbonation. And that
Ah,
carbonation is like a soda. And so instead of drinking, I guess, fake uh, sugary water that's been carbonated with CO2 or whatever it is, I'm making
right.
natural CO2 by using the yeast that's feeding on the sugar. And then so that yeast eats the sugar, so it goes away. So it's not a sugary drink, it's a
So
carbonated drink.
just regular water, you turn that into a carbonated drink.
Yes.
Wow, that is fascinating. What's it taste like? I mean, what is there different
Ginger.
flavors that you do? Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
know. I'm
so
trying to think of what.
you can add you can mix up, you can take raspberries and blend them into a syrup almost, and add that to it. You can do,
Ooh,
all sorts of different things, strawberries, whatever it is that you want to make as a drink. So this this is tea. I took honey and I put ginger, and I put ginger, put honey on top, and I let it sit for maybe 2 weeks, which ferments it and turns the honey into a very runny consistency, which then absorbs all um, nu- um, the micronutrients that are in ginger. And then I put that in a jar. I actually just finished it, but I take that, and every day I drink a little bit of honey with the honey infused the ginger infused honey, and I make a tea. And I've been not drinking any coffee probably for a few weeks now, because I've just been replacing my coffee with tea, and with what is that called? That is rosemary, which then I guess helps with focus. So it's almost like a your own little coffee without the crash that coffee does. And so I have now little things that are aiding in. Ginger is great for indigestion, bloating, all gas, all that stuff. So it really helps support the gut, which is very important for our health, because a lot of people don't take care of their gut health. And so I've been drinking that, having good probiotics essentially being
right.
introduced into my stomach to aid with nutrition and absorption. So by doing that, I'm just helping my body work even it doesn't have to work as hard, because it has all these extra nutrients that it's getting from all of the things I'm getting, to which kind of rolls back to what I was talking about, this food that's being shipped from, halfway across the world, the things that they're putting in to keep pesticides away, to keep pests away, adding pesticides, they're adding stabilizers so that it stays fresher longer. They're shipping it pre-ready, and they're pushing carbon dioxide, I think, to have it so that it ripens when it gets there. So it's doing these unnatural processes that a lot of commercial farmers do. And for me, I'm like, I can just grow these and it'll be 1, 2, 3 days old, and I'm getting all the nutrients that isn't being deteriorated over time. And as sun, the temperature, time breaks down these nutrients, I'm getting them jam packed full at their freshest point versus having it being, 2, 3, 4 weeks old, or even longer, even 60 to 90 days old. And then that nutrients is compromised because of all of the um, temperature and heat and time that's being produced, that's causing it to break down over time. I'm going to show my door.
There are so many advantages. I mean, basically, when you were talking about gut health there, you were talking about something that probiotics, for example, something that people go and, too often we do the pill thing, the big pharma, big ag and big pharma just pass us back and forth to each other. Now we're picking up some more stuff here. So just by doing these simple actions, you're saving whatever the number happens to be for a family. But let's just say the same thing. You're keeping $800 more every month by not spending for food that is nowhere near as healthy. And on top of that, I mean, look at the red dye scandal that's been going on for the last 6-8 months. Other countries don't even allow, it's illegal to put into our foods some of the things that are the United States here even allows. It's horrible. We're just constantly being depleted of the things that keep us going. And then on top of it, I mentioned the sushi thing. You sell off some of this product and trade for some products, and so this is also bringing in money too, right?
Right. Yeah. So I grow microgreens, which are baby plants essentially, and by growing them, I can't eat as much as I grow. And so by doing that, I'm in a small 6x6 space. I'm able to grow probably $1,000 worth of microgreens for per week, essentially, just for to use. And so what I've been doing is I've been contacting different restaurants and asking them if they use microgreens for their, usually microgreens are more decorative, but a lot of places like salad places will use them to add into a salad or anything like that to boost nutrition, add color. I have a few meal prepping companies that buy my microgreens for decoration, add color, add a little bit of
meal prepping companies. What's that? What's a meal prepping company? So they make meals and send them out?
Yeah, so they'll make your meals 3, 4, 5 meals a week in plastic containers, freeze them, and then ship them to you, and they'll or just deliver them fresh. And so they use my microgreens to add to
That's so cool.
their meals. And so I've been growing cilantro, basil, radish, kale, arugula, and so there are these little plants that are probably 6 inches tall. They don't have the like kale. It's not a leafy green. It's just like a stem in a sense that is full of nutrients, much higher nutrients per gram than its counterpart. And so I just been growing those and selling them to the local chefs. And anything that doesn't get sold, I look on the Facebook Marketplace for other people that are starting seeding or that are selling their plants, and I'll trade them a tray for some of their plants. So I picked up just last week 8 cherry tomatoes, which is one plant will feed a family forever, but 8 plants I can use to sell. And then and then I traded for aloe vera. So I have an aloe vera plant for healing. So like if I get an abrasion, I can put on that. Skincare. So it adds
Awesome stuff.
very good stuff. And then I also got, I think that was it. I think I also got a dragon fruit, but it was just rooting, and I don't think it's going to take. So we'll see if the person, if it actually takes or doesn't. But right now, I'm hardening my tomato plants, which I'm just putting into the sun for a few hours, so they get used to being indoors to now outdoors because the sun burns them if they haven't been hardened. So it's
Oh,
definitely
wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So just by
Yeah.
learning, and so yeah, just been growing all sorts of different vegetables, uh, and yeah, it's very easy, very fun, and it's very rewarding when you're like, oh wow, this is coming out of the ground. Something must be.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, to know that, and then eating it. I mean, to
Yeah.
be able to be self-sufficient like that is so exciting. Why don't you read Papa Lynn's here? I want to ask you, I want to build off of what he says here. Go ahead and read that out loud, would you?
Yeah, so it's funny that he says that because I just put a post. You can probably pull it up. I'll share my screen here. Let me pull this up. It's funny that he said that because I just made a post that was something similar. Let me see right here.
Great live show. Urban farming really feels like the future of communities.
Yeah,
Yes.
so let me just share my screen.
Yep.
How do I do that? Share.
There should be a little box down there
Yeah,
next
yeah,
to your.
I see it.
Okay.
Let me
All right.
just do this.
I'm really excited about this for the multiple things. One, okay, you're there. All right. Add to stage. You want me to add it?
Yeah.
All right. Let
So
me try this one. I'll give you a bigger picture, I think.
that's
Oh, no, that's in the, that way.
the other one, either one's fine. So
The
you
other
say
one?
the urban farm. Yeah, that's fine. Urban farming really feels like the future of communities, and I say the future. I think the future is more people growing small amounts of food at home, not farms, just kitchens, balconies, and window sills. I got
Oh, wow.
11 reshares, 31 comments, and almost 300 likes. And so
Holy
all sorts of
cow.
people just commenting on uh, that they agree essentially, and more community gardens. So it's pretty much there's people already interested. I'm going to unshare that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So it's exactly what he said is people are already wanting to do this and growing their own community gardens. And I think that's
Yeah.
something like so I'm since I've been an entrepreneur and I had a little SaaS company, I started developing my own app essentially for farming.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, hey, by the way, while you're looking for that app, the rosemary in your, do you drink that? The actual rosemary that's in there?
No,
Those are bigger. You just
no.
drink through the liquid.
So
Yeah, hold on.
all those they'll sink to the bottom, or I'll just spoon them out. But I'm just
Oh,
waiting
okay.
to drop. But this
Yeah, this app is cool. I'm going to jump off, so you keep going. I'm
All right. So this is an app that I've been building. So it shows me all the things I'm growing: my parsley, basil, kale, green onions, and then I can manage my crop. And it shows you like what stage there are, what I've done, watered, cut, and everything. It's really hard to do this backwards. And then I have my microgreens here. So I actually have to add a few, but it shows you how many days they've been growing, which is 5 days. I have basil and then cilantro, and I need to add today 4 more because I did it last night and I just haven't added to it. So I can track what stage they're in, how long they've been growing, and then I can add multiple uh, um, racks. So right now this is the size of my rack, but if I want to add another rack, I can switch over. So say if I move from a house, a small apartment, to a commercial spot, I don't need a new tool. I can just add more racks depending on how many I have, and I can change the sizes from 4 by 3 to a 16 by 20 or whatever that is, and it will adjust on my actual rack itself. And then I have my pantry, what I've been growing. So I have ginger bug, and a sourdough starter. And then I can sell from Pantry X. I can eat it. Um, Same thing with this. I can eat it or I can sell it. I can edit it, and then what the market value is, and then all of the stats. So how much I've harvested, what jars I have, what I've grown, the value, what I've sold, and the progress of certain things. And then the community. So I'll have a community. It shows my location, and then I'll have other people who sign up. They can add their location to make that community aspect, essentially, where people could go and be like, okay, this is that. There's this farm here. There's this farm here. We can trade with each other or create a community garden or anything like that. So I've been building that out.
That is awesome. I mean, I knew you were building that app. We've talked about it a couple of times, but you're also, so that app allows you to track. And I assume that in your community, you'll have this. You'll make this app available some way somehow.
It's already on my website. They can download it or they can use it.
Give it.
What's
It's
just
your
my
website?
name, BrandonDuff.com.
Okay,
BrandonDuff.com, and then they can go to the top right. It will say app login. Actually, I can just go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, share your screen. I love this idea and what you're doing with it, because not just the app, but the whole thing. Because, as you know, we're working on the Mangum 2030 project, which is our urban rural revitalization. And these are the kind of things that, I mean, yeah, we're in the farmland in the middle of rural America, but you can actually create a business out of your home,
Yeah,
as well as feed yourself. And so you're saving money and making money from the same effort.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, go ahead.
So
Talk to us about this.
You can just go to my website. I'm updating it right now, but you just go to app login. You create a password.
Pantry X.
This is just the login right here.
Care
so Brandon
OS.
Duff. I have to adjust this. It's supposed to be Pantry X. I was going to do a whole thing with.
It said pantry somewhere. It said pantry. I saw that.
Yeah.
I thought that was clever.
So it is. Well, my old website was Pantry X.
Oh, I gotcha.
And so I moved it all over to BrandonDuff.com just to keep my own branding. And so so you can just log in through the web app, or you can log in from your phone. If you It's not there. It used to be there, but if you go to settings and if you go to log in with your phone, you can share and then save it to your desktop, and then it'll act like an app. But ultimately, I want to start a challenge where I send you pretty much the a heavy duty tray, cocoa coir, starting seed, 7 day, and get it completely for free. All of this, and all you do is just pay for shipping essentially. So I'm sending people a tray, the cocoa coir, seeds, and the app so they can track it. They just need to pay for shipping essentially. So there's
Oh,
nothing
wow.
cost. It's just shipping and handling for $20. So that's
Oh,
the goal, to build this community. But yeah, ultimately there'll be I have people on here. Just people are using it. It's just they haven't updated their location. But
right.
yeah, ultimately we'll have people all around the world who want to grow, and you'll be able to see where different farms are if they want to share their location. And yeah, so people can grow, and it's a completely free app that I've built, and you guys can use it for free.
It is awesome, dude. I'm gonna take you up on that. Um, let's keep going here on this. Papa Lynn's again. How can someone start micro farm? You just talked about it right now. Micro
Yeah,
farming if they only have a small balcony, and you talked about the balcony earlier.
yeah.
Wow, we've
So
already been going 40 minutes. Holy, we got 400 people on here, Brandon. Go ahead,
nice.
take it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like I said, I'm just doing it off my balcony. I have a storage bin, a storage tote that is 27 gallons, and I put in um, like 8 potatoes, and then I bought 5 gallon to 10 gallon little bags. I might have, yeah, I have an extra one right here, extra two. So I have these little bags like this. You just put some soil in here. They have make sure they have draining holes on the bottom here so that the water can leave because you don't want to rot out the
Right. Yeah.
roots. And
Yeah.
then you just keep it in here, soil, and then I've just been putting ginger in here. I'm gonna put in some probably Thai peppers, and you just grow a few plants at a time. And then this doesn't take up. There's like for my desk, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you can grow 4 plants pretty easily in a 1 by 4 foot space. And if you add enough, I mean, it just becomes being organized, and it's very easy to grow food for yourself and your family. Where you just start off with one thing, find something that you're like, hey, we use this a lot. How do I grow this? And I use ChatGPT and YouTube and learn a lot. And we have actually, I think all of our on our website, each of them has guides on how to grow certain things. So you can use the app
Different
to
plants.
yeah,
Different plants. You mean? Okay.
right. So it will teach you how to grow, but ultimately, you just start off with one thing, and then you realize really quickly how easy it is, and then you try and add 20 things like I have. But yeah, just start off with one, try and replace it for your family, and then continuously add new things that will eliminate your bill, for your grocery bill. Start off with a few things here and there, and ultimately it will replace all your stuff.
That's your website, right?
Correct.
I'm gonna want to put that on there again, but um, the, the, the you said you were going to be creating a challenge. Can you go back to that? What your concept is here? So right now you've got these different foods. What was the second thing in that list that you showed? The
Cocoa coir.
yeah, what is that? Cocoa
Cocoa coir,
coir?
yeah, is a meat substrate or soil. Essentially, what it is it's coconut husk that has been shredded, and pasteurized essentially, and it's used to grow vegetables. Um, it holds nutrients, or it holds water really well, and it drains really well, and so it's not gonna waterlog uh, your plants. And so I out of everything I grow, like my microgreens, that's what I do, because microgreens don't need much nutrients because it's all contained in the seed. And
Right.
so I just use it as a grow medium, and then it grows, and then I chop it off. And so it's a tray. I add the coco coir, which is the second list, and then seeds, and I put seeds on top, and then I germinate for 3 to 6 days, and then it starts in a weighted weighted tray. Essentially, I put a little bit of weight, because that way it has a little bit tougher time growing through. Obviously it can't grow through the weight and the top, but it puts pressure on it, which helps remove the shell of the uh, plant itself, so that when you harvest, there's not a bunch of holes on the top, and then you have the shell, or the hole that has been removed, and then you can eat those microgreens. And then I also include the seeds, so it's all three of those things, so that people can get started growing microgreens and see results in little as 7 days.
Okay, so you're jumping on to what Dennis is asking here, aren't you?
Oh, I
He's
didn't even look at that, but yes.
how long does it usually take? So within 7 days. Okay, so back to this thing. Your challenge. So they'll each person will have access to the app, which goes through, and you can figure out and keep your inventory and where they are in the grow. Each plant is in the growing process, as well as these materials that we're talking about right now. In other words, the seeds, the cocoa. Is that a coconut? Actually, a coconut husk,
Yeah.
the brown stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Okay, and then you said you wanted to create a challenge. So what would that look like? I'm asking because Mangum 2030, right? I mean, you're feeding right into that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the challenge would be just that: is you would for the cost of shipping and handling, essentially, I'm going to be sending people, and it's going to have a tray. So I'm going to 3D print a tray. I'm going to have the coco coir that they'll rehydrate, and then they'll have seeds, and they'll put it in the tray. They'll put the coco coir that's rehydrated on top of the tray, and then seeds. And then ultimately, I want people to upload pictures and that sort of thing to show their results and share what they've done in 7 days. And for the cost of shipping, they won't have to buy their own setup. They can just create their own microgreens, and they can either eat them, they can either make a second one and then sell it to a sushi chef, or trade it on the Facebook Marketplace. So my goal is to start building little challenges every month or every week. Like, I want to start making a few plants and then donating them to certain people to get them excited about growing their own food, and be like, hey, I grew this. I want to give it to you. You can take care of it. You can feed your family with a basil plant. You don't have to buy basil anymore, and do certain things that is getting the word out on how easy it is to grow your own vegetables.
I love
So we're
that.
not having to rely on these big box stores that just think that just give us all sorts of bad food, essentially, that go bad really, really quickly.
Yeah, and the thing, I mean, we don't think about this enough, but when you think about it, we're eating that stuff. We're taking that into our body as fuel,
Right.
and one, we're not getting as much fuel as we should be, and two, we're contaminating our our bodies. Hey, Brandon, would you read Joey's comment out loud here?
Big thanks
Joey
for sharing
Davila.
real solutions, not just theories.
I like
You are
that.
very
I
welcome.
like that. And here's another one. Why don't you read that too? Dixon.
Brandon's work is super motivating for the next generation, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think this is I tell the story that Michelle Obama during the Obama years, she was the first ladies, or someday there'll be a first man, I'm sure, but they do these programs, right? That's kind of what first ladies do. The president's the president, the first lady does something else. And she started this gardening thing, home farming, same thing that now it never took off when she did it. Not that that's, I think just timing was up, but compare that time to this time where it's really becoming conversation a lot of people have every day, and moving towards this, because I think people are finally realizing, especially with some of the work that this current administration's doing in the food, Kennedy, what he's exposing to us all is what you're talking about now. And so this work is critical. I mean, it's definitely the way that people need to go, because our medicine is really developed, and so we do live longer, but something's going to catch up here, because big farm and big ag those are just two evil things.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway. All right, so let's get back on to here. We're about 45 minutes. No, we're almost an hour now. It's blown by. Clayton says, do you think more cities will adopt? Okay, here we go. So here's the tie-in right here. Thank you for this, Clayton. Do you think more cities will adopt urban farming policies soon? That's a hard one to ask, and I think it depends on structurally what the city is all about. Like, this is a charter city, so here it wouldn't be a big deal. But we're even right down to the HOAs. You got issues. You were talking about them. What do you think of this, Brandon?
I don't think they will.
I don't either. I agree.
Because how the economy works is how fast money moves. And if money is not moving, the economy, based on just the economic data, the faster money moves, the more healthy the economy, essentially, what they show us. And so if people are growing their own food, then that's money that's not being injected into the system, which then isn't going to the super wealthy, and they have lost control, essentially, by not controlling us with having to buy food from them. And I always say that if you eat an American diet, you end up in American hospital on American pharmaceuticals. And so if you're eating healthy, then it breaks down a lot of these systems that are meant to keep you dependent on the system. And so if you're not buying their food, you're growing your food, you're going to be healthier, you're going to be out of the hospital, you're not going to be on pharmaceuticals. And if you look at pharmaceuticals, they don't actually fix the root issue. They only treat symptoms. And if they treat symptoms, then they can get you on another pill that then creates more side effects that are more symptoms for them to treat, instead of just fixing the root issue, which is typically eating healthy and working out. And most people, they want quick fixes. And really, I mean, it really doesn't take that much time to grow. Like my kale and arugula, which is green leafy vegetables, I mean, that took me a couple weeks maybe. And I'm now every couple days I'm cutting my arugula, my kale, taking that, putting it into a smoothie, and eating that essentially every single day, instead of eating like 10 salads or whatever, I can just condense it and drink it as one drink. And I just cut, it regrows, cut, regrows. And same thing with green onions.
Wow.
So I'm cutting it, it
Wow.
regrows, cutting it, it regrows. I mean, all the food, if you think about it, all these systems that the governments control are things that are not self-sustaining, but um, are, what's it called when you have energy that is um, like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, I know where you're going with this. Where it's on an arc or a continuation, kind of like a nuclear fission. It just keeps it
yeah. So
builds on itself.
all the stuff like solar is it's, we don't need energy. We get it from the sun, and we can use that as a self-sustaining thing. Same thing with food. Like it it's it's consume. It's, you can make more seeds from it. You can grow it. Water. They sell us water because it doesn't get destroyed. And that's why they don't allow a lot of people to collect rainwater, because they want you dependent on the system.
Yeah.
And so they all are recyclable things that are in a system. But like energy, like you can get energy from the sun, and they sell us energy. And you can just get solar. You can grow your own food that is that can recycle. Water, you can collect rainwater because it comes from this, it doesn't get destroyed. So all these systems are meant to keep you controlled, but if you just do it yourself, then you're saving money essentially,
Oh
and you're
yeah.
not having to. Um, God, I wish I could think of the word right now, but all these systems are things that don't. They just, it doesn't go away. It's not destroyed. It's not like they're recreating it. It's just a um, regenerative, I guess. And so it just regrows, just like food. It regrows. It creates seeds. You take those seeds, you replant it in the soil. The sun comes down on the seeds. It regrows. It then creates product that you can eat: vegetables, root vegetables, fruits. You then take those fruits, you then put it in soil that has seeds in them, and you just rinse and repeat. It's a cycle, but it's a lot of people think it's really hard to do, but it's not. It's really, I mean, I'm not a, I'm becoming a farmer, and at the beginning of this year, I didn't know anything, and now I'm doing it, and I've
Sure.
been growing quite a bit. I now have worm farming. I have which worms break down the soil, add nutrients. They compost vegetables and fruit that go to waste. That turns into nutrient dense compost that you can feed to your plants. That gives it more nutrients. That makes bigger harvest, and then it just keeps repeating the cycle. And if more people do that, they'll live healthier lives, and they won't be as dependent on the system. But it's crazy because it might be a small upfront cost, but at a certain point, you're going to produce more than you can use, and you can store it, you can ferment it, you can put it, you can can it, you can freeze dry
Yeah.
it, you can dehydrate it. So all these things you could do. Like now, I never ate green, I never drank green drinks in the past, but I'm producing enough vegetables that I can have green drinks almost as a luxury. But it's more for my health too, because I'm not going to eat 10 salads. I'm just going to drink a few cups of green drink, and have my body is going to thank me for it.
Yeah, it's this there's so many positives to this. And again, it doesn't take. Oh, Sunny's on. Hey Sunny, how you doing? Um um it's not a burden, it's literally a very little amount of time, and you can scale it like you were talking about, so it's scalable to the point where you can actually create even a revenue stream out of it. But now you're adding something in here that's even better. You're giving yourself agency, right? Because if you're not relying on the government, you're taking some stuff back for yourself, and you're eating healthier, you're making money, you're saving money, and all these things are coming together. That is fascinating. You just threw in the whole part about not relying on the government systems, and that's a big benefit in itself. Right. So Jim was asking a question here, and as we talk about all this, when you began, and like you said, you just started this year or a year ago, you didn't know any of this stuff. So what mistakes do beginners usually make when starting to micro farm?
Not doing it.
Okay, well, there's that. Well, go. What if they do it? Well, I agree with you, because and this is something we're pushing. We have to, because it's of all the things you just said. But as you get out there, and you're going further, because you're doing I think you started with worms, didn't you? Didn't you start with worms? Wasn't that?
I started with worms and a ginger bug.
Ginger, that's right. And you're printing stuff, and it's here you're saving all this along, because now you don't even have to buy those pots. You just have to pay for the material, right, that the printer uses. So plastic, so it's cheap. It's pretty inexpensive. And you talked about your green drinks, and your making slushies, or not slushies, but smoothies. Thank you. Well, you go to a store, your smoothie is going to cost you $4, $6, $8, right?
Right.
You get something in there. Now you're making it
pennies.
For pennies. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So what was one of the things you did? You started it, so that wasn't a mistake. But what was the thing that something that happened that you really had to learn from to go through it? But what are some early mistakes?
I don't think there is any mistakes, because really, like,
okay, good point.
The worst that you can have is a few things, like and it depends on what you're growing. So, like, let's just say my little starter thing here that I have a little starter in
the corner, the white thing,
it's with lights. So it's a light that I'm growing basil with, not basil, parsley, and things won't germinate. So, like, one of my seeds won't go up, so I lose out on half of a penny. Like, are you gonna, like, maybe you lose out on 7 days because it doesn't germinate, like, so you lose that on time. I think the biggest thing is,
what does germinating mean? What does germinating mean?
The seed doesn't sprout anything. It stays dormant.
Okay.
So if it doesn't sprout anything, then I lose out on one space. But now, if I don't germinate there, that's terrible. But I'm like, why am I limiting myself to 8 little spots when I can go then outside and get a egg carton and drill holes into it, put soil on there, and then put little seeds in there, and now I have 20. So it's really, like, you can't, like, you're out pennies maybe if, like, a seed doesn't germinate.
If the worst thing in the world happens, you're out pennies.
Yeah. So, like, there's no reason why you shouldn't try, because the worst that can happen is you lose some soil and some seeds, and that's literally nothing for the potential. And if you just, with economies of scale, if, like, you, instead of growing one thing, you grow 10 and 8 of them actually seed, then and they don't take a lot of space. So then you have 8 instead of 1. You're not getting the 50-50 chance. You're giving it, like, you're only out 10% if you lose 1 out of 10. So, and then say, like,
good idea.
You grow now 10 of them, and then you trade it for, say you only need 5, you have 3 extra, you trade it for someone else who's growing something. So like I have a bunch of basil, 2 big plants, 2 big things, and I'm not going to use all that. So I'm selling it on the Facebook Marketplace, or I'll trade it for something else. Some lady's coming by today to buy
Oh, that's
my
right. Yeah.
my plant. So like if I had 10, 2 of them didn't germinate, I lost pennies. But then the 3 that I don't need, I then sell. I now have $30. So
Yeah.
I'm $30 versus pennies. Like that ROI is exponentially large.
Would you
So
would you recommend this for a business for somebody? Like a side hustle in the beginning, and you're not going to make $10,000 a month out of the gate, but is this something that you think makes sense for the average person? I mean, you started literally when you were 15, I think. Started business,
entrepreneurship,
entrepreneurship. So is you know where I'm going with this? I want to create these wins, right?
Can you replace your job with being a urban farmer? Is the question.
Yeah, that's the question.
I think that it is much easier to save money by growing your own stuff and trading with other people, and I wouldn't quit my day job by replacing by farming. However, if you do like microgreens, you also have to think of time, right? Like your turnover. So if you're growing beets, that's going to take, or let's just say ginger, that's going to take 7 months to grow. And I'm going to
Wow.
get maybe like 5 pounds of ginger, which then I could sell for $20. Is that worth it? Probably not. But I won't ever have to buy ginger for the next 2 years.
Right.
However, microgreens, I can grow them in 7 to 21 days in a small 10 by 20 scale in an apartment or in my house. And if I were to do my whole spare bedroom, I can probably clear $4,000 a week with microgreens.
On microgreens?
Yeah. So
Wow.
it really, so because the turnover is so quick and it's more of a luxury item, and so you have, it can be, but then you're getting to the aspect of, one, it's you have to market, you have to find the right customers, you have to have consistent product, and until you get to a point where you can automate it, you're gonna have to be watching over it every single day, because the first 3 days you're prepping, and then some like radish takes like 7 to 10 days, while cilantro takes 14 to 21 days. And so if you have chefs that want, a fresh product every week, then you're going to have to stagger your grows. And then it becomes like, this day you're doing this day you're doing this. And so it becomes very labor intensive until you can get it automated where you're and I'm not at this point, so I can't tell you, but I'm gonna, once I get the clientele, I will be doing it where it's more automated. But you're gonna have to do the watering, underwatering, and flood it from the bottom. Versus me right now, I'm just taking water and pouring it into every single one, and then you have to clean the trays and disinfect them, because as time goes on, bacteria in the air just lands on it, which then can grow in the soil. And so it becomes this very labor intensive. So I would say for anyone just starting, I wouldn't think of it as a way to exit your business or your job. I would do it as a way to replace your grocery bill. And then if it's to a point where you're like, hey, I want to make this profitable, then you can definitely do that with selling starter plants. And I've looked on the Facebook Marketplace, and I've seen people with 300 uh, 300 5-star reviews for selling their plants, and they sell them for $10. But they've been on the Facebook for 7 years. That's only $3,000 essentially over 7 years. So like it's not like they're making good money. So you have to, if you're looking to do it at scale, it's definitely you need a large operation with low labor costs and automation, because labor is going to kill you when it comes to uh, having a farm operation. So I would say start with just growing um, for your family to be healthier and happy, and reduce your bills, because what you can grow it for is much cheaper than what you can buy it for. But they're doing it at, I mean, a thing of ginger is $2, and you use that like a week. There's a funny quote that's like, I spent $20 to grow my vegetables that cost $2 to buy. And so it's, and it's kind of like
I get
wine,
you.
where it's, I spent a larger
get you.
fortune to lose a much smaller fortune. But ultimately, like, a lot of this stuff is a fixed cost. So you buy it once, you can just keep regrowing it, and then your cost per ounce of product is much lower, and it turns into pennies essentially.
That's nice. That's very nice. What do you think about Jeffrey's Jeff? I think are there specific plants that grow well year round in urban spaces? What do you right now? You've been doing a lot of kale. It looks like you're branching into the tomato thing, and obviously the microphone. But this is an interesting question. I know tomatoes can't make it through the first frost. I tried doing that here.
So it depends if you're growing inside or outside, because obviously the temperature has a huge influence on what you can grow. Because if it's below 40 degrees, a lot of your stuff isn't going to grow. It's going to stay dormant, or it might just kill the roots. If you have a greenhouse outside and you're able to keep it at a stabilized temperature, I would assume so. But I'm also have been doing this less than a year, so I can't give you. I can only go by experience. But what I hear is, obviously there is seasons, obviously, to what each plant can grow in. And I don't know if the seeds, and I have no idea, know what time of year it is. If you grow it indoors, I'm guessing you can do it all year round, because you can control the humidity, you can control the temperature, but then you're getting into much more cost, because you're using energy, you're using extra tools. And so it does have a cost to grow indoors versus using the sun. Microgreens you can grow year round, because you're inside, you're not growing them outside, growing them on coco coir with grow lights. And so I would say that if possibly, most likely you can grow things year round inside. You're limited to outside based on the season and where you live.
That makes a lot of sense. Well played. Well done, man. So this one's an interest. I think this kind of dives into what you were talking about earlier when you were talking about your community and how micro farming, you get that inner agency. You get more out of it than just nourishment, right? You nourish your own sense of sense of hey, I did something in the world today. You know, you can touch and feel. How does micro farming improve community resilience in real life? I want to try. I want to take a stab at this too. Go
Well, I
ahead.
think it's if you're putting garbage in, you're gonna get garbage out. So if you're putting garbage into your body, you're gonna feel like garbage. If you're adding healthier foods into your body, it's gonna help yourself. And if everyone's doing that, it's going to uh, just help with your community. And like I was saying, I want to give a plant to someone and have like that as a challenge every single week or month to uh, encourage people to start farming and understanding where their food's coming from and doing it for themselves. And so I think that if people realize how easy it is, uh, then it's more people will do it because they want instant gratification and they want um, results
True.
now. And so,
True.
really, I think that, and I also find that being older, time flies much more quickly. So, really,
It does.
growing vegetables really just flies like that now because I am older. And so I find like it's almost like instant gratification because I'm like, oh wow, like my beets are already showing shoots, and I just planted them like 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks flies by like it's 2 days. And so yeah, so for me, I think that it's it's really easy.
Very cool. Very cool, man. Hey, question here, Dan. By the way, great question, Juan. Our great questions all the way across here, folks. We got a couple more here, Brandon. You're good on time, you said, right? We've been going an hour and 15 minutes, and the 400 people are holding steady. And I want you to read. I'm going to come back to this. Why don't you read that one right there?
Fascinating.
Yeah, Sunny Taylor. She's I actually have a meeting with her today. She's here from she lives here in Mangum. She
Oh,
owns a hair
nice.
salon. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna do a show with her coming up,
Oh,
and
good.
it's part of this whole Mangum 2030 thing that we're working to do. Let me ask you this. Um, we already not that one, this one. How much space? Now, this is one of those things. You know, it depends. What do you consider to be a meaningful amount of food? But for instance, you gave some. You hold up that bag there that you had there, and that's a growing bag, right? The
Yeah.
growing bag. So that you used early on, right, for growing a plant,
Well,
right?
this is unused, and I have another one that's unused, and I'm growing ginger out of these in um on my patio.
So in the bottom of those bags, there's holes, and you wanted that so that the water flows out.
Right.
And I saw you had some blankets some other day. I made a comment on one of your posts. Um, where are you doing those posts, by the way? Uh,
Threads?
I mean, huh?
Threads?
Yeah, on the threads. Is it threads?
Yeah, that's what I
Anyway, so
use.
are you using, so are you posting that stuff also in your website and then sending it to threads as well, or
No. So any video I do,
yeah.
I'll post it on YouTube, and then I'll do a longer form video, and then I use Opus Pro, which I've told you in the past, which then
Yep.
it snips it up into bite-sized chunks, and then we'll upload it to all the social media platforms. Any text-based or picture-based, I just post to Threads usually.
All right. So how much space does somebody actually, let's say you want to, let's see. Why don't you answer Daniel's question? I
Yeah,
think I'm
definitely.
overcomplicating it.
Yeah, you are. So it depends
I am.
on how much you consume and how many people are in a family, and what you consider to be meaningful. That's why I always say that start off with one, And one thing,
One plant.
one vegetable that you buy every single week and grow that. So like green onions are really, really quick. Um, I would say onions are pretty quick. I hear potatoes are pretty quick. I would literally just ask ChatGPT. I would upload, and I have this on our website, but I
Oh,
deleted
there you
it. But
go.
ultimately, just take your grocery bill, take a picture of it, and do that for like 3 weeks. Upload it to ChatGPT and be like, "What can I grow right now, and how fast?" Ginger is going to take like 7 months, so don't grow ginger because out you'll be waiting forever. But try and get some quick wins. Green onions are really quick. Mint is really quick. All the herbs are really quick. Um, Parsley is really quick. Um, Basil is really quick. So if you make basil or use mint, I've been doing more teas because I wanted to get off coffee and just do tea um, and make my own kind of concoction that gives me focus, energy without the crash. And then also have like a nighttime tea that helps with dreaming, deep sleeps, relaxation, and as not as much focus and more of like going like almost like a melatonin. So I have both of those.
Ah,
Start with those things because one, it'll give you the confidence to keep growing longer things, but two, you'll have things that you can reuse. And then while you wait for the longer things to grow, and you'll be like, oh wow, this is really easy, more easier than I thought. And then I made a post on Threads that a lot of people like. Let me find it real quick.
are you going to share that? You want to play
Yeah.
it?
Yep. Right. This is probably this one. Oh no, it's not this one. It is. Yeah. So let me go ahead and share this one. I have 3 posts that I want to share that I think that kind of go hand in hand with
All right.
what I just said. And this one, this one.
You're going to do 3 separate shares.
No, I'm just gonna do one.
Okay.
I just need to put them on a different tab. So, all right, here's this.
I like this next question, by the way, Brandon.
So these are the random thought.
I'm going to jump off.
Okay.
Jump off. Hold on.
So it kind of go hand in hand with what I was saying. It's random thought. Growing food is weirdly addictive. First, it's a small trade, and suddenly you're checking plants every morning like a crazy person. And this one got 74 likes and 28 comments. Everyone's like, yes, it happens right after your first hit, but it's the moment I completed my first harvest. I go outside every day to marvel at the growth of my garlic and ginger. So all these people are like how addictive it is to see all the things that they're growing. I mean, here's a
Wait, go
picture of a
back
small
one.
patio.
Wait. Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Go up a little bit. Go back a little bit. I saw that. What is that? Is that the potato
My
thing?
first lettuces of the season have sprouted, but my only south-facing window, and I text pictures to 5 people like I'm giving birth, like my baby. So this is lettuce.
Oh,
I guess
that's lettuce.
yeah. I guess these are the
Huh.
lettuce shoots, and this
Oh,
is.
I see. Okay, I see. Okay.
So to kind of give you size, when these are people
Yeah.
that are growing lettuce over here, these look like tomato plants or maybe peppers,
Yeah, they do.
and so they're the seeding trays. So I mean, easily, what is that? Probably 4 foot by 10 feet.
Yeah.
Pretty easy. This one,
Is this on your Discord?
this is on Threads. Growing food
That's okay.
once changes how you see grocery stores forever. You start noticing how simple some of it actually is. People say
Wow.
this guy said it's addicting.
That
This
looks
is his
cool.
his little
That looks
garden.
cool.
So this is
That's
someone
like a
else that
backyard. It's
it's
his
a
backyard, right?
greenhouse. Looks like a greenhouse.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
So he
Wow,
has
that's cool.
tile
I love the
here.
pavement. I love the
Yep.
tiles.
And then this is the last one. Imagine you wake up, walk to your kitchen, cut fresh greens you grew yourself, feel different than a grocery store food. And it's got 39 likes and 5 comments. Best feeling ever,
Dang.
ever. It's wonderful. My 5th season doing this. Had my first basil leaf this morning. So all sorts of people just saying how addictive or how amazing it is to grow your own food, and
That's very cool.
how it's not like one, it's and I've been talking to this with other people, but like it's you almost feel proud when you see
Yeah.
your little vegetables growing. It's like a little dopamine hit. And so being able to grow your own food really just shows like you're like, oh, I'm taking care of this thing. It's actually doing something. And it goes back to what we talked about. Like if you grow 10 of them, that's why you see like that person had like those seeding trays and then a bunch of like tomato plants. Is if you give it a 50-50 chance, then it might not grow and then you feel defeated. But if you grow 10 and only 8 of them actually take, you have more than enough, and you're all took the same amount of time, and it only costs you fractions of a penny
Right.
versus spending much more for something else. So, and you probably waste more by buying a vegetable that goes bad after a few days and throwing it away. So I think that it's asymmetric risk.
That's dude, I love the way you're framing this now. One last question here from Dixon. He's talking about that next step. How can communities collaborate to build local food networks? That's an interesting question.
I would say use a local network app. Like there's Nextdoor. I've been trying to post on
Is that an app?
Nextdoor. Yeah, it's an app based on your local location. You can use
Oh,
Craigslist. You can look at some of these group. I think Eventbrite sounds like one. Little
yeah.
events that you can go to. I know that here where we live, people do a plant trade shows where they all show up and they have they bring their plants and they trade with each other. But I mean, I've been just looking on Nextdoor, looking or not Nextdoor, Facebook Marketplace, looking for what I want. So I looked for aloe vera, I looked for tomatoes. I found people that were doing seedings of those. And then I messaged them and I said, hey, would you trade microgreens for a few of your starter plants? And I would say it's a 30% chance of someone saying yes. I messaged 10 people that are doing it, and 3 people say yes, 7 people say no. And the people that say yes are very thrilled because they're very excited because they have too many. They know that they have too many tomato plants and they're not going to use them, and so they don't want to be inundated with 20 tomato plants when they can get some microgreens that cost them pennies. That when they know they could buy it from a store, which is going to cost them you know, 7, 8, $10. So for pennies, they're getting microgreens for that cost $10 in the store. I'm spent pennies and I'm getting time because I'm not having to start tomato plants from scratch. I'm getting them
Ah,
already uh, germinated and actually growing. And so I'm buying back time essentially. And so it's just
good point.
a good win-win for everyone.
That's a good point. Hey, on that app, Nextdoor is the name of the app that connects you with people that are around you physically.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that
there's
what you're?
Nextdoor, there's Craigslist, There's all sorts of apps that are locational based.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, my friend, my son and friend. That was an awesome show, dude. I mean, really, I wouldn't know how to put this together, and I just like the way you walked us through the steps and then here at the end, as you were wrapping up, talking about opening up a door to things we don't know about. I mean, your community there and all those likes and all the activity that's going on. What do you want to leave your 400 fans with? What lasting thought? And I'll throw you in the green room. I'll wrap it up and I'll come back and talk to you again.
Just start, because literally you can buy a few seeding trays, a few seeds, be out $10, $5, $10, $15, and literally probably you could find on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist people giving this stuff away too. And I've noticed that the people that do farming or urban farmers, they're excited, just as excited to help you as anyone. I think that they understand and they just want you to start too. So and as you can see, all those people in the comments on my posts were like all excited. There was like, there's no one like putting someone down for growing plants. We might have, if you like this person or that person, political, or this religion or that religion, no one's going to shame you for growing a beet or a potato. They're gonna want to lift you up and be like, oh yeah, you can even do this or that. And people that are farmers just want to inspire other people to do the same thing.
That's beautiful, man. Beautiful. Give everybody a big wave. I'm going to throw you in the green room, and I'll talk to you in a second. Love you, boy.
Love it.
All right. So there we have it. And you know what really stands out for me today? It's simple. Food is not separate from freedom. Production is not separate from participation. And health is not separate from governance. We've spent weeks talking about the body as infrastructure, haven't we? Today, we saw what happens when infrastructure becomes tangible. Soil in your hands, food on your table, muscle built through effort, confidence built through capability. This is not about politics. It's about capacity. And capacity scales. When one family grows food, that's personal. When a town builds production literacy, that's structural. When a generation chooses resilience over dependency, that's a cultural shift. And that's where we pivot. Mangum 2030 is not a slogan. It is five integrated pillars. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Designed to increase adaptive strength at the local level. And over the next phase, we begin 13 people whispered, the voices of Mangum. Not experts, not pundits, not national figures, voices here in Mangum, Greer County. People who recognize themselves in the quiet pressure shaping our time. Family, schools, media, work. Faith, fatigue, transition. We're going into the streets because rebuilding doesn't start at the top. It starts where people live. If today's conversation resonated with you, share this episode. Invite someone into it. Subscribe at YouTube at Rod Duff 1939. Join us on Substacks on our Substack at insightstraighttalk.substack.com. Because the deeper rebuilding has already begun. Not loud, not flashy, but foundational. And if we do this correctly, Mangum becomes a model, and models replicate. We'll see you next chapter. I'm Rod Duff. I'm your host of Insights and Straight Talk. That's my son, Brandon. His show on YouTube is Brandon Duff. And I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.